above the masthead of the Punch newspaper, FG may announce airport concession winners this week. FCT risks attack, says US. Defense headquarters allays fears. Below the picture story of the Punch newspaper. Yes, you can see the picture story there. With the caption, 539 stranded Nigerians couldn't get UAE work permits. NEMA. Kerosene price soars by 118%. Fuels anxiety. Dubai jails Nigerian lady for filming maltreatment. Family protest. Lagos FCT destroys 10,748 seized motorcycles. Association begs. These are some of the stories that made it to the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's quickly take a look at what the Nation newspaper has for us. And it's leading with this story: security alert in Abuja to forestall attack by bandits. US, UK issue travel advice, no cause for alarm, says Defense headquarters. And below, above the masthead of the Nation newspaper, federal government seeks reduction in out-of-school children figure. Telecom sector contributes $70 billion to economy, says NCC. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And the point is next. And it's later with this story: 2023 governorship polls, APC, PDP face stiff contest in 6 states. 2-horse race in Lagos, tripartite battle in Kano, incumbent predecessors battle in Ogun. Protest vote looms in Southeast. Not yet Uhuru for PDP in Delta. Stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We have others too. States economies under threat as federal transfers shrink. Expenditures of 36 states rise above IGR in 2021. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Moving now to the Daily Trust. And the Daily Trust has a story as its banner headlines. NDLEA State House Amitabh list as FG budget 23.57 billion naira for vehicles. That is the story. That story is making the banner headlines on the front page of the Daily Trust. And it comes with the riders to 22.5 billion naira voted for same item this year. 20 agencies to spend 29.32 billion naira on refreshments, seating allowance, welfare, others. Proposal frivolous meant to siphon funds, CSOs. That story is on the front page of the Daily Trust. Yes, above the picture stories there: terror attacks likely in Abuja, US. Next is This Day. And This Day is leading with this story, still on insecurity. It says US Embassy alerts on terror attacks in Abuja, reduces services. UK others follow. That story is making the banner headlines on the front page of This Day newspaper. And above the masthead, we have these Moody's with $41 billion oil sales. Nigeria got only $5 billion downgrades rating. That story is on the front page of This Day newspaper. Next is the New Telegraph. And the New Telegraph says, Presidency, ethnic card exposes Nigeria's fault lines ahead of 2023 poll as identity politics stokes racial fire. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the New Telegraph. Still on the front page of the New Telegraph, below the picture story, there we also have the story about the US terror attacks imminent in Nigeria. Let's now move to the leadership. And the leadership says, 2023 presidency in supremacy context for Kano, Atiku, Tinubu, Gil, Dethi. That is the story making the better headlines on the front page of the leadership. And above the masthead, we have this: we are not aware of US security alerts to citizens, credited to the police. Niger sacks 27 judicial workers for certificate racketeering. The Daily Times is next and is leading with this. I won't rule Nigeria from Dubai, Tinubu. Below the pictures, Buhari condemns headers from and the Nigerian Tribune has this. The Nigerian Tribune has this Tinubu article in French. Well, I won't get Nigeria from Dubai, Tinubu. Tinubu has no record of fulfilling promises, PDP. Moving now to the Guardian newspaper. Cholera cases, death surge amid nationwide flooding. That is the story making the banner headlines on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. It says cholera cases surge amid nationwide flooding. Then the blueprint says, is leading with this story. Tinubu to critics, presidency, knowledge-driven, not wrestling. PDP has failed. These are some of the stories we have for you on the front pages of some of the national dailies in Nigeria. And I have my regular guests in the house who will be analyzing some of these stories for us this morning. Dr. Yinka Ranjis, you're welcome to the program.
Fine morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, you have secretly been reacting to some of the headlines I've been reading.
It's true.
All right, let's start with the story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. It says security alert in Abuja.
What actually confounded me about the fact that it's coming from US. What are our people doing? Of course, there's an alibi they may want to play, that they don't want to cause panic. Imagine if this is coming from our own security operatives. You can imagine what will happen. People may be running letter-skelter. But the fact that it's coming from US does not mean that we should not acknowledge that. Because it's necessary. And the US we are talking about, they are referring to their own citizens, not to our own Nigeria. But it has been amplified, so it's out there. So my take is, let each and every person or each and every community try to guide and guard their own homestead. I don't have to wait for police to come and help me in security situations. As I'm speaking now, we should not be thinking of Abuja. Let us come home. Let's think of Osun. Let's think of our immediate community. You know, even prior to this, we do landlord association and we come out in the middle of the night. We do timetable. We bring out a chart. Those who come out this midnight, then the other, you understand? That's just to say that we protect ourselves. You remember in Yoruba cliche, Abu ara eni labolu. I don't have to wait for the police to protect me. So that's the way to go. Now that it has been hyped, I think we should shine our eyes. And as we say, the crab uses its eye to protect itself. The crab, mark that statement.
Now, are you not worried that this is actually, that the police actually said they are not aware?
That's the area I'm talking about. It may be it may be tourism that they are not aware. It may also be that they are face saving. You know what I mean by that?
Yes.
They want to save their face. They don't need to tell us that we are also aware.
Okay.
So they will say that they are not aware that they are saying that is what they already know. They could say that. But between that and what the US has done, I am saying we should protect our homestead. I don't want to wait for anybody to tell me if I protect myself. No. It's out there. We should start acting fast now to protect ourselves.
Okay, now let's look at the issue of security and insecurity now. The UNICEF has also come to say that it is fueling malnutrition in the country. Now, what should government be doing in this area?
In fact, I must say, government is not doing enough.
Okay.
I have said this again, that the raging storm, the raging flood will not stop from destroying your homestead. It depends on you to protect your home. This government is not doing enough to protect Nigeria. And I'm saying they should raise the ante. They should make sure that they do it. You can see the situation of food situation now, when you have to kill farmers or ask them to pay tax. What is the government doing about this? Lately, we've heard that they are decimating these people, but they should do more. So that's to say that it's not yet Uhuru. It's not here to rule.
All right. We have this. The Punch newspaper has this story. It says LG subsidy spending to hit 11 trillion naira in 2023.
It may even be more than that.
Okay.
You see, the problem of subsidy, I've said it before. We call it government intervention in economics. We are running mixed economy, but we are having the variance of capitalism. That is, you allow the vagrants of making sure that prices are given as they were. I'm trying to remember that word now. But when that happens, it is the duty of government to now intervene. Ordinarily, market forces, yes, that's the word I'm trying to, should be allowed to play. You can see what's happening to kerosene, you can see what's happening to diesel. They are not affordable to the common man. The height of it will be when it touches PMS. You will now see. So we know there is fraud, whether in this subsidy thing, there is pure fraud, because nobody can tell me precisely the amount of PMS we are consuming in this country as at today, or the number of cars we are fueling. But government is supposed to subsidize production, not consumption, with some exemptions with this PMS. The problem with government is this: they want to take off this subsidy thing. Government is willing to do that, but they cannot, because what would be alternative? Like I say, if somebody is taking hard drink, I mean, if he's taking alcohol, and you want to take it from, you have to replace it with something. Maybe you replace it with tea. If you take off subsidy now, what will replace it? The backlash that will come out of it. We may not have the election in February, but people will protest, people will do everything. So they are now, managing the situation. That's why I said they will not remove it until July next year, waiting for the next regime to come in. So I'm now saying that whoever will come in, whoever, I don't want to mention anybody, should be ready to face that consequence of the removal, because it will definitely be removed. We can't sustain it. It's not sustainable. But to remove it now, no. If you just support the fraud there and the backlash that may occur if it is removed, it's better for us to leave it.
All right, now look at this. Regime to spend 1.3 trillion naira on rehabilitation and maintenance of refineries. Which refineries are they talking about?
It's fraud. Because not only this regime, even the previous regime, military.
Yeah, it's turnaround maintenance.
TAM, they call it TAM.
Yes.
What have they done? And they are pumping money there. It's pure fraud. That's why I say I don't envy whoever will take up the mantle of country management come February. I don't envy that person. He has a lot to do. They are still pumping money there, and there is no result. One single silver bullet result, I'm saying, I hope somebody is listening, is for us to go back to how it was. Fiscal federalism. Give Niger Delta people, give them their oil, let them own it. Let them now steal what belongs to them. We have what belongs to us too. We are agrarian. So there will not be comparative competition. You understand? Comparative advantages. We will have to go there to get PMS. We have to come to us to get our own. A good example is cola. You may think it's just on the side. The East appreciates cola more than the West. The North appreciates cola more than the West. But it's not grown in the two areas. It's grown in the North. I'm just citing that as an example. God does not give us equally. If they want to take their own food, give it to them. Agitations will stop. There will be no Biafra, there will be no Odua state. Why are we stopping from doing that? So whoever comes in next should revisit that. Now, let's see how we can.
Now, talking about fiscal federalism, you said Nigeria.
Yes, we need that seriously.
Now, the Daily Sun has this story: Constitution review. National Assembly mobilizes presidency labor against governors, speakers. Why are governors and speakers?
They are, after they retire from office, there is this humongous amount they are giving. They are giving cars, homes, even in Abuja. That's what they are talking about. I have said this. Oluchi, vanity upon vanity. All is what? But so what are we talking about? Do you know that some people are serving senators now, and they are past governors? They are still taking this money we are talking about. They are still being remunerated. What do you do with money? Do you want, my God, I don't know what's wrong with that. Somebody said because I'm not there. I said, let me be there first. You don't need all this kind of money. Your children are in school, some of them have left school. What do you want to do? Would you take it to heaven? It's a shame to our people. Look, it's legal, they are not doing anything illegal.
Yes.
But give it to me. I will not give it to the poor. In Islam, there is something we call riba. You have heard of riba, that is interest payment. There are two schools of thought in Islam. If you are given, If you say you don't want and you are giving, you are free to talk, to give everything on it to the poor. Or you don't take it at all. Why can't the past presidents, vice president, governors, deputy governors, they will take it, right? But what is either they reject it or they give it wholly like that to the poor. There are some people who have served government. They've not been giving their pension money and they are going about the street. Why can't they say, okay, whatever you want to give us, please give it to the poor? What is wrong with that? But they won't say it. Nigerians. And there are people criticizing present government.
Oh, right. Still talking about...
It's elitist.
Still talking about the economy and the government. NDLEA State House Amitabh Police has FG budgets 23.57 billion naira for vehicles.
What do you do with vehicles? Some of them, in fact, there is one senator now who is still campaigning for his party.
It actually said that 22.5 billion naira was voted for the same item last year.
It's unnecessary.
I mean, this year, same item.
I want to cite an example of a senator who, when he was in office, do you know he has different colors of cars for different apparel he wear? If he's on ash color like this, he will go out with ash color vehicle. If he's on black, if he's on red, is that not madness? And he's still campaigning that his party should win, the same person. So what I'm saying is, the problem we have in this country are elites. It's elitist.
All right. The leadership says Niger sacks 27 judicial workers for certificate racketeering in the judicial.
That is the way to go. Now, can you imagine if we have a government that will go this route? Things will change. But can they do that? This is an exception to the rule of corruption in this country.
Right.
And I hope more will come like that. Judiciary, for that matter. I know it's a
So we
shame.
have other stories too. Travel ban. FG evacuates 542 Nigerians stranded.
From UAE.
Yes.
That's to tell you that people who are jackpying, they can be brought back. So it doesn't mean going is not the issue, but staying there is not the issue, except if you're a professional. I will support that. But professional depends. It's not that all of them should go, so that they don't leave us in the cold there.
So what should government be doing to
Government should do whatever it's possible. I mentioned something.
Stop people from seeking greener pastures.
Let me tell you, let's look at why they are going. I mentioned 3 things that are not in place. That's why they are going. You have to look at power. You have to look at food industry. You have to look at health facilities and education. If you can address this for, people will stop going. But can we?
All right. The Nigerian Tribune is where we're taking the next story from now. And it says, police arrest IPOB commander, destroys shrines, camps in Ebonyi State. Yes.
That is southeast, isn't it?
Yes, southeast.
Why couldn't southeastern states copy Ebonyi? People will tell you that because Ebonyi is APC. That's not the issue. The issue is they are holding the bull by the horn. That's Ebonyi. Why couldn't Anambra, why couldn't Imo do the same thing? Although Imo is APC too, but you see, a lot of things are skewed against that Imo governor. He's trying to do his best, but people are not supporting him. But Ebonyi governor is getting support of his people. That's why this will go. That's the way to go. I expect this to go out more so that we decimate these people trying to destroy this country.
So on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, insured flood victims to get prompt payments of claims.
What about the ecological fund given to governors? I think Serap is saying that they want to prove. For at least for once, I want to support Serap on this. They are just collecting money. I will continue to say this. Kudos to Aregbesola. You see, it is when the people that are living are not performing that you remember people in heaven. That's why they are forcing us to be remembering what Aregbesola did here.
Yeah, even the present governor.
That is follow up. You know, I said so. Why couldn't other governors do that? Do you know only Osun and 2 other states are free of this flood thing? All other about 33 states are involved. They should probe ecological fund. Although NEMA, I'm not saying NEMA should not do its job. NEMA should come to the aid. But let us probe the ecological fund. Okay,
let's touch this before we go. The Guardian, it says cholera cases, death surge amid nationwide flooding.
That should be. That will be cholera. What do you expect? In fact, cholera is even infinitesimal. What about hunger? Because let me tell you, what is happening now? We will not feel the effect today. Wait for next year. Because a lot of food, this thing is uprooting even graveyards. Let's talk of uprooting food crops planted. I hope we will not be the worst for it next time.
Thanks so much, Dr. Yinka Andrews, for making it to the program. As I also want to say very thank you to our viewers for always being there. This is where we'll be saying our bye on today's edition of Newspapers Today. My name is Oluchi. Keep enjoying the rest of our programs. Good morning.